What's going on, Guardians? I'm Beyond Light Guardian, and in today's video we're going to be going over Destiny's 2 Hotfix 3.0.0.3 and the TWAB this week at Bungie for 11/19/2020. First off, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, hit the like button if you like the video, or hit the dislike button if you dislike the video. Be sure to check out all of the other videos we have. We have a lot of helpful things like this video here, which is about getting a free powerful engram, so you do not want to miss out on that, especially in this power grind. The raid will be releasing this Saturday at 10 a.m. I believe it's Eastern, Central, one of those. So you don't want to miss out on that free, powerful reward engram. So without further delay, let's get into it. So one of the first things we're going to be looking at here is the Coriolis Force Fusion Rifle. This is under the weapons section for the hotfix. It was getting more ammo than intended from ammo bricks, so Bungie nerfed that. I'm not sure, like I said, I've not used it before, but the one I am most excited about is the Witherhoard. So the Witherhoard was doing more damage than what it was supposed to, and a whole bunch of other nonsense in PvP and everything like that. I didn't really notice it all that much. I did use it in the campaign, but like I said, I was so severely underleveled that it really didn't even matter. So the Witherhoard is now been re-enabled. So this is the second weapon that has now been re-enabled, first being the Rose and now the Witherhoard. So I'm really excited about that. Next thing we're going to be moving over into is that everybody is excited about. So with the introduction of Stasis and Beyond Light, overpowered was not even the word. I didn't really get to fully experience just how bad Stasis was in PvP until about last night, when a guy froze me from the opposite wall that we're on, meaning he was standing on one end of the wall and then there was a wall dividing us. He threw it at the wall and froze me through the wall. So that in itself, I was like, yeah, this is bad. We got a lot of things for Stasis here. So the first thing we got is fix the exploits with the Warlock Shadebinder super. So apparently there was where you can get an infinite super, and so people were running around with infinite Warlock Shadebinder supers and Witherhoard. So I'm glad that was fixed. I didn't personally come across it. I didn't go into PvP that much whenever this first dropped, and they were pretty big on it to get these things fixed. The next thing is the Stasis breakout damage. So a lot of people were talking about this. Now this is just one half of the battle, but one of the things that people were talking about is the Stasis damage, and pretty much you're at 0 to 0. And I did a video, you can check this video out here in the card, but I basically did a little short test, a little raw test on resilience, because as we've seen, Bungie said in the last TWAB that the more resilience you have, the better off you are to surviving or having a little bit more health left over. And this is something that Bungie talks about in this TWAB also. So one of the things that everybody's been looking forward to is the nerf on Stasis. And I think just going through this, the way that Bungie handled it, I think they really did a good job on this, but you know, remain to be seen. But I think they nerfed it in a way to where it's still useful, but at the same time, it's not completely overpowered the way it was and just really ruined the game for a lot of people in PvP. So one of the first things was the fix the exploits with the Warlock Shadebinder super. So apparently there was, you can get infinite supers with the Warlock Stasis super. So I'm glad I didn't have to come across that, but people were running around with that. Full, 6 stacks of Warlock Shadebinder supers and Witherhoard. So I'm glad, like I said, I didn't have to come across that. The one that everybody's been looking forward to, half of the battle, is the Stasis breakout damage has been reduced from 110 to 90 HP. I did a video, you can check that out here. A little mini test on the different resilience levels and how much health you would have left over from, when you took a melee, when you took a grenade, and when you took a super, and the breakout state. And so one of the things that Bungie talked about was if you had more resilience, the more health you would have left over. And that stood true, just to save you time if you don't want to look at the video. But what they said is that they adjusted the curve that reduced breakout damage using resilience, increased the damage reduction effect Resilient has, so that the higher tiers of resilience are more valuable, which we've seen that they were already pretty valuable. So I'm pretty excited about that, because as we know, resilience doesn't really do anything in this game. The only one effect, which we also tested, was 60 resilience when Thorn had its tick damage, and you could survive that tick damage at 60 resilience. So I'm not sure if that's still the same thing with the changes in the hand cannons and RPMs and damage, but we'll be able to definitely test that out to see. But they say that it caps out at 90 resilience. So we didn't test 90 resilience, we tested 60 resilience or 0 resilience, 60 resilience, 70 resilience, and then 80 resilience, and then 100 resilience, I believe. So caps out at 90 resilience, which is fine, gives you a little bit of wiggle room. Another thing that they had was the Stasis Warlock melee, because I'm not going to try to say that word. The projectile speed was reduced by 20%. The range reduced was 28 meters, now 16 meters. Winter's Wrath, the Warlock Super, duration was reduced 30 seconds, now 24 seconds. The Winter's Wrath Light Attack, the Stasis Warlock Super, cost reduced was 5% per burst, now 4.5% per burst. And the Cold Snapper Seeker speed reduced by 23%. So I'm glad to hear that, because I don't know if you guys noticed, but it is a clear advantage when you're using the Warlock Stasis subclass. I mean, it is clearly far above, better than any of the other Stasis classes. Now, I have all 3 characters, but I'm a hunter main, and so that's just what I stick with. I don't really think I'm going to be doing any other different characters unless it's requested for guides or whatever the case may be, but I don't really think I'm going to be doing any other characters besides hunter. I'm going to kind of go back to the D1 days, just sticking to my hunter and playing with that, because the grind is just kind of burning me out. But the Warlock Stasis subclass is definitely overpowered, so I'm glad to see these things, because I mean, it literally was like they were a walking super all the time. So I'm glad they've dialed that back, but I think it'll still be effective. But like I said, it won't be where it's just a clear advantage and there's really nothing you can do, especially with, you know, how you're able to. Now Bungie adjusted the resilience, the recoveries, the discipline, all those different stats. They adjusted those a lot differently from versus how you would have if you had the light classes. So the Arc subclass, the Solar subclass, the Void subclass, those stats are a lot different. So it takes a lot longer, even though you have the same amount of resilience. So if you had 50 resilience with the light classes and 50 resilience with the Stasis class, the duration time is miles apart. So when people are able to max out those things, like I said, it was just literally, people didn't even have to use their weapons. They could just throw freezes across the earth and they would still land on you. So the next thing we have, which is everybody's looking forward to, and I think I like the way that they did this, the Cold Snap freeze duration lowered was 4.75 seconds, now 1.35 seconds, which is awesome. That's another thing that people talked about. So literally Bungie fixed that. They fixed the amount of damage you take when breaking out. So if you want to take less damage, then hey, listen, you're gonna have to use your resilience. Can't have the best of both worlds. And they reduced it. That is quite a reduction in terms of how long you're being frozen from, a whole 3 seconds basically. So they fixed the breakout time and fixed the resilience. So hey, either you can break out faster and still have a little bit of health left over, or you can maximize both. Maximize your resilience. Like I said, we showed you the test on how all those different resiliences work out. So be sure to check out that video so that you could possibly build a counter class to the Stasis subclass. The Ice Flare Bolt's freeze duration lowered was 4.75 seconds, now 1.35 seconds. So same. The Warlock Blast melee freeze duration lowered 4.75 to 1.35. The Winter's Wraith heavy attack no longer affects players who are not encased. Yeah, that, oh my goodness. The Warlock Stasis subclass. Like if I didn't feel like I was so burned out, I would probably definitely go and just make a Warlock Stasis subclass and go through that grind just purely because of that subclass in PvP and PvE, but definitely PvP. But moving on, another thing, gameplay and investment. Fixed an issue where Pinnacle rewards were not dropping at the correct power. I didn't necessarily notice it. I think just because I've been still grinding, so I probably haven't noticed it at all. I don't know if they fixed it to the point to where, okay, the stuff that you have now is the correct power, or just in the future they will have the correct power. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the latter. They fixed an issue where several repeatable bounties were providing more XP than intended, i.e. the moon bounties. I didn't necessarily hop on that bounty grind right away, so like I said, I didn't notice a lot of these things that were going on. I was just trying to just get through this game and just kind of spread out the content that I did have and not get myself burned out so easily. But it fixed the issue on the Exodus Crash where the spider tank wasn't spawning. Exodus Crash has now been enabled. And then just some general issues that they have that were fixed. The Argula errors. Fixed an issue where fragment pursuits were purchasable with a full inventory. Those things don't apply to me, but it applies to someone out there. Now we're going to move over to the TWAB. This TWAB is absolutely long as I don't know what. But This week at Bungie, 11/19/2020, we're going to try to go through it pretty quickly here and just cover the important parts that I found interesting. Like I said, I always leave this in the comment section and description so that you're able to go and check out the TWAB, just as that way I would leave any other videos or anything like that that I suggest or mention. Just go ahead and check it out there, but we're just going to go through the things that I found pretty interesting. The first up thing we have that everybody's been looking forward to that I probably won't be participating in is the raid. And so that's going to be at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time this upcoming Saturday on November 21st. So 12 Central, 1 Eastern Standard Time. And if you're on any other time zone, Google's your best friend. Keepstone Crypt will become available. I will probably just be watching the world's first race online, just trying to cover it. And then you have up until December 1st to get some other rewards if you want to complete it. So I'm going to try to find a team to be able to do the raid with after that point. At this time, I'm just trying to get out content. It's kind of tough to do content and power level at the same time and this not be your full-time job. There's a world first verification timeline, so I'm pretty sure, I guess they've done this before in a contest mode. So the contest mode will cap players' power level and different things of that nature. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see this, and they'll eventually announce it on the Bungie's website. They said Monday, November 23rd, they'll announce it on Bungie's website on who won. So that'll be pretty fun to see. Like I said, I'm probably not going to participate on that day. I'll just grind, just watch on Twitch or YouTube to see who wins this world's first race. Now, if you remember this emblem here, the day one raid emblem here, this emblem, if I'm not mistaken, was on the free power rewards on the rewards site that I showed you guys in the other video, which I already have linked in the description. So it's nice when Bungie does these little things like there that add to the game. Like I said, to have some kind of reward feeling for completing an objective in this game. Securing the entrance. Our security team has been working on a variety of projects to sharpen our tools for cheat detection. In the coming weeks, we'll begin rolling out a new security measure for newly created accounts on PC. Our hope is that this deters some players from breaking the code of conduct. For a quick explanation of what's coming, our friends from the security team will be taking the stage to walk you through the process of SMS verification. So basically, SMS verification is you can only have one account linked to one cell phone number. I'm not going to go through all this, but basically the way that it works out is once you make that account, you have to enter in your phone number. They send you a code, and then after that point, they know that you're locked into that account. So hey, if you wanted to make another account or somebody wanted to make another account, they would not be able to use that cell phone number. They would have to find another phone number, and a lot of different companies or different gaming developers or whatever the case may be has this thing in place. So I'm surprised that Bungie is pretty late on the jump here, but this is something that a lot of, like I said, game developers have in place. And so you have to have a pretty official phone number, you know, not just any free text free number that you can get, an actual phone number to be able to get this code and play on account. So I think that'll be pretty awesome to see. Now, like I said, that's not an anti-cheat, that's just in case for the people that end up getting banned, then they'll have a little bit tougher time once they are caught of getting back in. So the next thing that they have is the Game to Give 2020 fundraising campaign, Light Keepers. So just some donation stuff. On Giving Tuesday, December 1st at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we'll be kicking off a 24-hour streaming marathon with some of your favorite influencers from a variety of channels, including Twitch and Facebook Gaming. We'll have featured live streams taking place throughout the entire 2-week campaign, so be sure to follow us at Bungie Love to receive the latest information. We are excited to share the sweet prizes. We have to thank our donors for their amazing contributions to help kids. Check them out. So here's a donation incentive. So $25 donation will earn you the 2019 Miss Blossoms emblem and Gilded Shell Exotic Ghosts. If you missed them last year, this is your chance to get your hands on them. A $50 donation will earn you above items plus the new Light Keepers emblem. So bunch of these things here, bunch of donation and charity work as Bungie has been doing for quite some time now. So pretty awesome to see. I'll definitely be checking it out, just seeing all these different streamers coming together, and it's pretty amazing how they have it set up, but all these different streamers doing these live streams back to back to back to back. And if you love Destiny content or just Destiny streams, then it'll be definitely a treat for you. This is the Tune in the Darkness. We've already taken a look at this. It's basically just a Hotfix 3.0.0.3. We're going to go into the next thing, which is probably one of the biggest things that people are looking forward to. I mean, Bungie went all in this TWAB. Now, I don't know how much is this going to really take effect. You know, it's one thing to say something, it's another thing to do it. But loot. So they said, since Beyond Light launch, we have been working through a whirlwind of feedback, what feels good, what needs work, and most importantly, how are you feeling? Today we'll be talking through a bit of player feedback concerning loot and some short-term plans the development team is working on. Development team. As Beyond Light has launched, we've been tracking your feedback around loot, particularly weapons, and we wanted to take a moment to let you know how we are processing it. Today we're going to be talking about the short term, with more information to follow in the future around the long term as we work through those problems. Infusion caps are intended to help keep Destiny 2 evolving and ensure that every release, the new rewards are exciting and relevant to the meta. However, we agree with your feedback that there's currently not enough variety in no-world loot weapons available to players this season, which has been a constant complaint on Reddit. To that end, we are adding back in a selection of weapons that will help alleviate this issue. We will also be watching to see how the landscape changes with the addition of weapons from Season 12 and this week's raid launch. We also agree that getting near-cap weapons from random world drops is frustrating. Thus, we are removing those from the pool and are weighting drops more heavily towards newer weapons. Here are a list of adjustments to the world's loot legendary weapon pool you'll see with our November 24th hotfix. So this is not going to be apparently this week, but will be, next week, the 24th. So remove all legendary weapons that hit their infusion cap at the end of this season. Add all the 7th Seraph weapons from Season 10. Add all the Season 11 seasonal and planetary reprisal weapons. Weight drop chances, so the newer an item is, the more likely it is to drop. While we are not yet ready to dive into the long-term strategy yet, we are listening to feedback and watching how the player build landscape evolves over these first few weeks of Beyond Light, and incorporating that feedback as we plan out future seasons. Feedback never stops, and we are always excited to hear how you're feeling about Destiny 2. Keep it coming. This is something that people have been talking about. Like, for instance, I think I've received a lot of weapons that have been 1060 light, which, you know, I can't do anything with those weapons. I mean, I can do something with those weapons in patrol or whatever the case may be, but in actual in-game content, these weapons have no use for me in order to be successful in that in-game content. So this is something people have been looking forward to. People have been complaining about the loot drops and everything like that. Now, I would definitely look to see, they haven't said anything about power level drops and things of that nature, but definitely just getting more content, which this is something that Bungie always does. They take content out just to put content back in, and we celebrate them. So this won't be anything different, but it'll be good to have some pretty good weapons back into the game that a lot of people have been looking forward to. Certain weapons that I know that I wasn't able to get to because I wasn't playing the game around that time, or just took breaks at that time. So I'm excited to get my hands on those weapons and be able to use those weapons in in-game content and be able to make future videos on that. We have the hotfix, which was today, the 19th, and Bungie just went through those things here. The hunt or be hunted. So the season of hunt, I have a video that I made on that, just on the lure, on the new location, and just 2 of the lure hunts or season of the hunts or Wrathborn hunts or whatever it's called. Just made 2 videos on that. The Wrathborn hunts are pretty easy, pretty simple. You're able to get some powerful rewards out of it. Now, I'm pretty sure once everybody's reached the soft hard cap, so the 1250, and once you move over to the side of Pinnacles, then they probably just won't have any use whatsoever. But right now, while people are grinding, any little bit helps. So if that is you, then be sure to check out the help forum. There's some other things here, Destiny add-ons. We went over the PC. Now there's some other things here, Destiny add-ons, the PC migration, and Battle.net login ending soon. We've talked about this, so if you haven't already, get that taken care of. Do not miss out on your account for nothing. I mean, the process is pretty seamless. So known issues. This here, I thought was just what they did, but they said that the playlist difficulty was unintentionally set to 1100 power, so they reduced it to 1050. I just thought that they moved it up to 1100 because of the new season, but apparently that wasn't supposed to do that. So some of the other things, sparrows on Europa are not properly despawning. So I don't know if that's just because of, we've been constantly seeing a lot lately of just sparrows sitting all over the place, and a lot of people have made remarks on those, on just how pretty cool that is, but apparently that's just a bug. So yeah, we can't have nice things. So reaching power level 1200 may result in a new adventure pop-up. This is something that I've been dealing with, and as far as I can see, just pretty general things here. But once again, this TWAB and the hotfix will be in the description. You can check out those things. We're not going to go through all these things here. We just want to kind of cover the basics, the more important stuff that you guys are looking forward to that will make this video interesting. We got movie of the week and things of those natures, and that's going to bring us to the end of the TWAB. Overall, I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty sure you guys are pretty excited. We'll see how these things actually play out. See if Bungie is being serious about this or if it's just all talk, you know, just get PR stuff. But I've been the Beyond Light Guardian. Be sure to check out all these videos I mentioned. Be sure to check out the TWAB. If you guys feel that you want me to cover something else or any suggestions for improvements or whatever the case may be, just let me know. But I've been the Beyond Light Guardian, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.